Nicki Minaj shuts down her New York Times Magazine interview. And if you guys remember, it was the New York Times Magazine interview with Miley Cyrus that started the beef between the two. Yeah. Okay, you remember that, Brett. We talked a little bit about it. They also brought it up here in this interview with Nicki Minaj. This is what Nicki said to the interviewer, quote, in regard to Miley, "The fact that you feel upset about me speaking on something that affects black women makes me feel like you have some big balls. You're in videos with black men and you're bringing out black women on your stages, but you don't want to know how black women feel about something that's so important. Come on, you can't want the good without the bad. If you want to enjoy our culture and our lifestyle, bond with us, dance with us, have fun with us, twerk with us, rap with us, then you should also want to know what affects us, what is bothering us, what we feel is unfair to us. You shouldn't not want to know that." So then the interviewer asked Nicki Minaj in regard to the beef between Lil Wayne and Birdman of Cash Money. This is what Nicki Minaj tells her, quote, "They're men, grown-ass men. It's between them. How does it make you feel, I ask? I hate it," she said. "It doesn't make me feel good. You don't ever want to choose sides between people you love. It's ridiculous. I just want it to be over." So she tried to squash it, right? Then the interviewer asks her point blank, "Do you feed off the drama?" That's when Nicki Minaj got upset. She says, quote, "That's the typical thing that women do. What did you putting me down right there do for you? Women blame women for things that have nothing to do with them. I really want to know why. As a matter of fact, I don't. Can we move on? Do you have anything else to ask? To put down a woman for something that men do as if they're children and I'm responsible has nothing to do with you asking stupid questions, because you know that's not just a stupid question. That's a premeditated thing you just did." Thoughts, 5 words or less. And then she stormed out.
I'm sticking with Nicki.
Yes.
Now we got bad blood.
Oh, that's so good. Feeling Nicki on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, so you immediately want to stick with Nicki. Why?
No, actually, I don't immediately.
Okay.
Brett actually turned me to the Nicki
Oh,
side right
because
before this.
I was listening to Sam. So Sam is really the catalyst
So
here.
it's all you, Sam. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nicki is just kind of saying her feelings.
Right.
And
right.
so she's not mad because Miley was like starting a beef. It
Yeah.
wasn't that simple. It was more like, I want you to know that like, you can't just not listen to me and shut me out.
You got to recognize my feelings as like a black woman and how this is important. You can't just be like, no one should fight. No, I actually have some real feelings about this.
Yes, the prior feud had a lot to do with Nicki did not feel like that she or other black women in the music industry get recognized as much as the white women. And so when she brought up the fact that she wasn't nominated for, I forget what the award, whether it was Video of the Year or Artist of the Year, she brought that up on Twitter, and member Taylor Swift reacted, but then Taylor Swift then apologized, saying, "Oh, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm sorry that you feel that way." And then Miley, in her New York Times Magazine interview, just kind of made it about the awards show. Like, it shouldn't be about awards. When what you just brought up, Nicki was talking much more broadly about that, about how she feels discriminated against. And you can't, whether you agree with her or not, you can't take away someone's feelings.
In the world of beef, I think we need beef safety words, just so we know that we're serious. Because so often I love beef, not just the food, but the drama.
Oh, you do?
Oh, I love it, and I eat it up. But I want the beef to be just very superficial and, like, stupid.
Yeah.
And that's what this seemed like at the beginning. And it wasn't until I read what Nicki Minaj had to say back where I was like, oh, this really is like a deep, appraisal and criticism and discussion about, race and gender politics in pop culture.
No! God, please, no! No!
And when that happened, it's like, oh, okay, we just need a safety word where we can say, like, McNuggets, and now we're having a real conversation. But before we say McNuggets, I still want to be able to be like, oh, no, she didn't.
What did you guys think about, did you think that the interviewer was asking Nicki Minaj demeaning questions? Do you think that Nicki had a right to get upset?
Yeah.
I love this, the interviewer dynamic. When the interviewer is like, oh, these are pretty easy questions. I'll just ask the standard questions like, do you feed off the drama? And it'll be good, and I'll just check that base because I got to go interview someone else across town in a minute.
Yeah. New York Times.
And Nicki Minaj has just been sitting here thinking like, I hope she doesn't ask me that stupid question.
That's the worst thing that can happen to an interview, I think, to just get up and leave, especially the New York Times. But they didn't take Nicki seriously. And they asked her stupid questions. And she's a really smart person.
She is. And I think, too, when you're two really good friends, your label mates, your bosses, Lil Wayne and Birdman, have been going through this really notorious feud, and you're saying that you want it to be over with, and then she has a follow-up question telling you, do you feed off the drama? That would get me upset too, because I can't imagine if you two were in a feud, and then I just said, you know what, I'm really genuinely upset that Amir and Brett are in a feud. This affects me. I want it to be over with. And then they say, do you feed off the drama? I'd be like, why would you assume that I feed off the drama?
It's like you're saying, like, well, come on, you kind of like it. Like,
now I'm coming back the other way. And it wasn't like, don't you feed off the drama? It's like, do you feed off the drama? Because it's possible. We don't understand.
Don't you think that's a leading question?
We don't understand artists.
So when you're playing, you feel like a preserved moose on stage.
Yeah. No, it's an open-ended question. It's not a yes or no.
It feels very salacious. I don't think you should ever be rude and walk out. I don't. I think it would have been better. But again, I don't know the situation, how many times Nicki Minaj has been asked that question. But in an ideal world, if Nicki Minaj would have been like, hey, listen, why are you even trying to pit me against them, or saying that I would feed off it to my friends in a feud? That's not the case at all. Let's move on. Like, that would have been the ideal way to handle it, but who's to say that I would handle it that way, that anybody would handle it that way? I don't think you should ever fall into the place of being
you're
rude.
assuming that she's like that basic as to like just like this big deal that's going on in the world.
I get why she's offended. I get why she's offended, but I don't know if she should have been rude and stormed out.
Interesting, because, you know, Nicki is saying to Miley, why don't you just hear me out? Why don't we have this discussion? Why isn't Nicki having this discussion with the New York Times Magazine person?
Yeah.
God, this is more complicated than
This is complicated, you guys. Please let us know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.